so far with a $10,000 goal. So if you guys want to see either of those, get in those donations. We have $20 from Pistol McAwesome saying, always love seeing games being played for a great cause by some amazing people. As someone who has had loved ones affected and taken by cancer, being able to help even in the slightest is something I always enjoy doing. Much love and positivity. We have $110 from Holcomb B, saying thanks from University High School in Florida. We're watching AGDQ all week while we hate numbers. Had to donate during the Metal Gear blog for the good of the mission. All right, folks, and without further ado, here's a wonderful performance of Metal Gear for the NES by Eriphram.
Hello, everybody. This is Metal Gear here. It's a classic NES game. We're going to do a quick roll call here on the couch.
I'm Plywood.
I'm Starwin.
I'm Jenelric.
And when we start the game here, timer does not start when you press start, but it's when you gain control of Snake. So that'll be about 13 seconds in. And we also have the lovely shortest menu here that lasts about 2 seconds. So we'll get started here, and I'll give you a notification when the timer starts.
We dropping, boys. Let's go. 2D Metal Gear.
And time starts now.
All right, let's do this.
So this is, I'm going to start off with saying this is the downloadable content here, the jungle section, and we got some wonderful translation going on in this between the MSX version and the Famicom NES version. Just wanted to show this off. He feels asleep.
I feel asleep.
I feel asleep right now.
You feel the sleep.
I feel the sleep.
So this portion of the jungle here is just an extra section compared to the MSX version. Starwin, can you give us a little comparison here?
Oh, man. So, yeah, the MSX version has no jungle segments. You're pretty much in the buildings the whole time. So right here, this is all stuff that's not in the MSX version, though we will be seeing a lot of screens from the MSX version in this game.
And as part of the jungle section, one of the fun things is you got to deal with all these spinning guards, and it's a little bit random how much damage you can take. You can mitigate it as much as possible, but you never quite know how much you're going to walk away with depending on the RNG. RNG is based on a global counter that starts from power on, so if you are a little consistent on pressing start, you get similar patterns throughout the game.
Uh-oh. The truck has started to move.
Oh, God.
So getting in the back of certain trucks will take you to different parts of the game.
Now, this is a little deviation from the standard route here, a little bit of marathon safety. We're going to pick up some rations here and use this technique called farming, which is going into the transceiver menu and then exiting to respawn items into the room. And we're just going to pick up three rations because that's the max you can carry at 1 star. As you rescue prisoners of war throughout this game, you gain rank. It takes about 5 prisoners in order to increase your rank, and that increases your weapon capacity and your item capacity for consumables like rations.
We'll be keeping track of Eriphram's rank with this handy-dandy felt counter.
Boy, I hope I work my way up to 4 stars at some point.
I hope you do too.
You got this, man.
So I'm moving in particular fashion here, hugging some walls because the vision of the enemies is interesting. It's kind of a straight line, but kind of not, and kind of conish. There's really no good way to describe it. Each enemy basically has its own unique field of vision that you gotta kind of account for.
It's not like that on the MSX version, right?
Oh, no, not at all. So in the MSX version, Snake's hitbox is actually from his belt and lower. If the guard actually sees Snake's, anything below his belt, an alert will actually be triggered. But for the most part, the line of sight is just, a straight line in MSX.
So this is the gas room. It deals damage based on frame roll, and you gotta quickly menu in order to equip the gas mask. And sometimes you're not able to do anything about it, and you take damage anyway, just based on when you enter the room.
Rolling pin?
It's a one-hit kill. You do not want to run into that.
It is a terrible way to lose a run. So we're going to take advantage here of some of the enemy's vision patterns here by pushing down against the boxes there, and you're invisible.
They just can't see. This camera, too, is the same way.
It's a very useful camera.
Yeah, they can only see with 3 tiles, so in a 2-tile space, they will never see you. Great game design right there.
And as you're seeing right here, we've been picking up key cards. So there's 8 key cards or 9? Is it 8
It's
or
9.
9 key cards altogether in the game. You actually have to use specific key cards on specific doors. It's not like in Metal Gear Solid where once you get another key card, it becomes the only key card.
Yeah, so a big part of this game is just memorizing what key card to use, when to use it, and where to switch it. Menuing is a big part. We want to try to do our menuings in small rooms like this one right here because it reduces the amount of lag frames that you can receive. The more sprites on the screen, the more lag it is, the longer it takes to transition to the item menu.
What's a foxhounder?
A foxhounder is a member of unit foxhound, so we just add the They are a foxhounder.
It's beautiful.
It is.
And I'm just going to point out we receive a call in this room that we didn't take. It's telling us that there's gas in this room, and if you don't put a gas mask on, you're going to die.
Thanks, Big Boss.
Very helpful.
Very helpful once we're in the room.
Big Boss isn't trying to kill us. He's a good guy.
So based on the fact that I have about 2 HP right now, we're going to take it a little safe going through this section here and punch out some additional enemies instead of risking the damage. Now, coming up here, I'm going to brush right up against the wall here, and in case any guards just spawned right now, will be guaranteed to spawn in the left corridor instead of on top of you, taking additional damage.
So in this room right here in the MSX version is actually like a small little mini boss fight with the 4 horsemen. It's a really, really scary room in the run, but in this game it's just rooms with an item in it.
They're out to lunch.
Yeah.
It's not there.
It's a scope for the rocket launcher.
I don't know, it's one of my favorite rooms. It's so calm, relaxing. I don't know what everyone has an issue with this room for some reason.
You know, people really do hate on the NES version, but there are some things in this game that I wish you could do in the MSX version.
Yeah, as a speed run, this game is actually pretty cool because we're going to be pretty much playing on the razor's edge of life for the rest of the run.
And we're just going to take our ration here because the game can do some funny stuff with attacking you out of the blue or deciding to shoot you a lot, and we do not want to take a death this early on. It'll send us all the ways back to the beginning of the jungle sequence, and we'll have to walk all the ways back.
So did we explain how hostages work?
Yeah, so when you rescue 5 hostages, you will gain a star. And when you gain rank, you gain a max life, you get more ammo, and you can equip more rations.
So at this point, we're pretty much done with building one for the moment. We need to rescue 2 more prisoners of war and go take care of some business that will be told shortly here.
With this wonderful story.
We'll get some major plot development in the game.
Yes.
Phew, that was a close one. Foxhounder agent, Gray Fox.
Oh boy, where is Gray Fox? We're gonna have to find out pretty soon.
And when you see this hallway again, we have one of those wonderful cameras that don't work for half the screen.
You know what? I completely forgot about that camera on the left, to be honest.
Oh, we're ranked 2. We're in there.
I think we are, yeah.
He gets a star. Hey.
Sweet.
Congratulations.
Nice. I'm just a little bit more classier now. So this truck is wonderful and not wonderful at the same time. This guard can do what just happened here. He can talk immediately and then waste time by spinning around and
You're under arrest.
saying you're under arrest.
Facing away from you.
But this is Gray Fox here. He has a lot of points. Metal Gear's bad, nukes are bad, go destroy Metal Gear. And this is a great time for donations.
You got it. I have a donation here from Blue Light that says, from East Coast, West Coast, and now Japan. Life takes you to a lot of places, good and bad. AGDQ, however, is always the same. Dashing speedruns, marvelous commentary, and a slew of games to watch all week. Thank you so much for what you do. My uncle deals with multiple myeloma, and I hope this will be another push toward preventing his blood cancer and all others alike. Stay awesome, AGDQ, and as always, Semper Fidelis, Blue Light. That donation was for $430.56.
Yes, go for it. You go. You good.
So at this point, this is our first boss here, the Shotgunner. And keep in mind, nobody has ever escaped.
Never. Best jailer ever.
Oh, that was very intense. We got our items back. Thankfully, it was in this unlocked room.
So hard to get past that aerosol gun.
I thought he was like projecting sneezes at us.
And look, it's another key in a room that we just happen to have a key for.
You'll never defeat me, Snake. You'll never
You'll
get
never
out.
escape from here.
Oh, okay, bye. See you
Oh.
later.
Oh, we made it! We made it! And I'm just going to say, if you thought nanomachines were for the later games, there's the first instance of nanomachines in Metal Gear right there, allowing the dog to walk on the wall.
It's beautiful. Beautiful thing. So this room right here in the MSX version is a huge maze where you have to bomb C4 or use C4 on walls to get to certain parts to get these items. But in this game, they're just in two separate doors. That's it. It's like really simple.
I don't know, it's kind of maze-like. You go around a wall and into a door.
No.
There's also multiple doors. You have to decide which door to go
True,
into.
you gotta pick the right door.
Three whole doors.
It's supposed to be that the dog confuses you so much that you don't want to go forward.
Nanomachines.
You want to try to be on the wall as well.
So to explain that screen, I just went left and right on. It's basically a Zelda-like maze in order to get back to the building we just left. So we go left to get to the right side of the screen. Do I know the combination to get back? No. Do we need to go back? No.
No.
So here we get keycard 4, and we're gonna drop an extra item that was added to our inventory. It is the transmitter, and that thing alerts enemies the moment you enter a room. So if you forget to drop the transmitter, when you enter this room here, you're gonna have 4 guards surprising you with a little party.
And you want to do that transmitter menu right there because your cursor's closer to the transmitter since you're on card 3 versus when you pick up your gear. And not Metal Gear, I mean your equipment. Just saying.
So coming up here is going to be using the invisible pixel lines here. I just discovered one day, hey, walking down this tile doesn't get spotted by the camera, but if you're against the wall, it does. So
And
I
we
just
have
take it to my advantage.
we have our employee of the year there sleeping.
He feels sleepy.
He always feels sleepy. So this room in the MSX version, you don't get to take that little path he just took. You actually have to navigate the lasers. Like, I love this game so much.
Geez, Starwin, it sounds like you should run the NES version
I'm-
from everything you say in here.
I'm working on it. I'm getting there. It's that and then Ghost Babel.
Oh yeah, buddy.
So here we get to be told that Dr. Petrovich has moved yet again, and I'm getting a little tired of those messages. It's basically like your princess is in another castle. So I just decided we're not going to rescue him.
Machine Gun Kid.
Don't try to go any farther. Oh,
Okay.
bye.
So we didn't have to use it, but one of the mechanics is going into your equipment and resetting the boss. If his shots were in a bad position, I would have gone on there and reset the position, and we would have been able to walk through no problem. So this grants us our 3rd rank here.
Hey.
And I'm almost to 4 stars. I'm almost there.
Wait.
So how's everyone doing
What are you
back
doing?
there?
No.
What?
No,
What?
it-
No.
Hey, I still got 3 stars.
He still has them.
So despite the bad acting, that was fully intentional. We use the death warp here to our advantage because it's quicker to death warp instead of walking back to the elevator. So we can go to the roof for this next section here for the one and only use of the bomb blast suit. Keep your eyes peeled for it.
I thought that was the big boy suit.
And there was the use of it. If you don't have it equipped, you can get blown back up into the doorway, and that's the only use. Not to defuse bombs, just to walk.
Fun fact about the MSX version, you can't death warp. It's not good.
There is a death warp in the desert, though, for any percent.
I mean,
It's not quite as good, though.
it's not as great.
Yeah, but here we don't have to do the desert at all.
It's true. There is practically no desert, and there will be a guy later who says you can't cross the desert without a compass. Not true.
What's the desert?
Yeah, exactly.
I've never come across a desert in this game, at least in this category. So we have our first 2 ammo crates there using the farming technique, and now I have to be conscious that I no longer mash the A button. I was mashing the A button up until this point because it did absolutely nothing. Now if I overmash with it, I'm going to be firing an extra grenade and might blow up something I don't want to blow up. And I need most of the grenades for the rest of the run here.
Which is a good tip if you're just starting. I've played this maybe 7 times. Didn't get too far, but no one told me that part. So I was wasting a whole
Yeah.
bunch of grenades.
Thankfully, you can mash with the D-pad instead for the text boxes.
This is nice. You can mash with any button except the start button, which just pauses it.
Here's Twin Gunner. All right, we're giving him a little hug there.
Whew, that was a very intense boss fight there. Hopefully we won't have any more that's just as intense as that. But we're going to do another intentional death warp here to go back to that elevator shaft yet again instead of walking back.
In the MSX version, that's the Hind D fight, and the Hind D just does not make an appearance in this game, which is very sad.
Now, my understanding is that Hind D fight is pretty easy with a grenade launcher in that game. Just
Oh, you
off to the
stand.
side.
Yep, you stand in one spot and throw like I think 20 grenades, and it dies. It's easy. It's super easy.
So up here, we're going to farm the rest of the rations for the run. We're going to go up to 9 for marathon safety. Normally I do about 7 or 6, but this is a great time for a couple more donations.
You got it, man. We got $50 from K Fizzle4. Says, I want to watch Metal Gear, but I feel asleep. We also have $150 from Glitch Paradox. Say, thank you for what you do. Donation is runner's choice, as long as that choice is to kill the animals.
So here is our next boss. It's a tank. We're going to go really close to it, equip the enemy uniform, and walk. When you reset the tank's position, the hitbox for it doesn't exist. It's not there at the top of the screen. So we just use that to our complete advantage to walk right through it.
We kind of do the same thing in the MSX version, but we actually do take a damage boost. We get shot by the machine gun and then walk through it. It's more or less the same thing.
The start of this building is very similar to the MSX version. There's a dozer
Oh.
in this hallway.
And unfortunately, we cannot walk through it.
Yeah, it got constructed in this little hallway.
The IKEA bulldozer.
IKEA bulldozer.
We fire 8 grenades, and the most important thing to remember at that point is do not walk forward early. The hitbox hangs out just a little bit for about a second or two, and you can walk into that hitbox as long as the music's playing and the tank and the bulldozer's not there. It's really unfortunate when that happens. And here's a warning grenade. We don't need warning shots, we got warning grenades.
You would think the explosion would signal them. No, it's the whistle of the grenade being thrown.
These guards are pretty impressive, especially their scurrying animation. It's my favorite part.
Dr. Petrovich has moved yet again. We keep hearing that name. We're not going to go see him.
I don't want to save them now. I don't like them.
Here, we're going to use a little strat found by Plywood here. Is walking along this line right here so we can walk right in without being seen to get key card number 5 at this point. At this point, building number 2 is mainly going to find the rest of the key cards we need for the game, the rocket launcher, and then we're all set to go.
Yeah, the benefit of doing that line on the roof is that we save a grenade, and we can use that grenade coming up.
So the roof sequence is pretty simple there. Starwin, I understand the roof sequence in the MSX version is pretty hard.
Yes. So Big Boss rank is, of course, one of the ranks you can get throughout the Metal Gear series, but specifically in the NES, or not the NES version, the MSX version, that roof kills every attempt you'll ever do to try to get a big boss rank. It's so random.
And I believe one of the keys to that is that the persistent alert feature does not work in this version of the game compared to the MSX version. So they're continuously chasing you from screen to screen compared to this where you just leave the screen and the alert's over.
Yeah, they fixed that in the sequel to this game on NES, Snake's Revenge, but Snake's Revenge also has side-scrolling Contra sections, so kind of take the bad with the good there.
Oh, some exciting platforming section.
Yeah, that too.
It's also Snake's Revenge, a game.
Even though he wins in this game, he gets vengeance yet again.
Vengeance on what?
I don't know. On the player, I think.
Note to self, do not run that game.
Shout-outs to Jaguar King.
Yeah, shout out to Jaguar King.
So at this point, we're coming up to our next boss battle here that we're going to avoid for a little bit. These are the Arnolds, a reference to...
That one guy.
yeah,
That one
That
dude.
one dude.
I menued a little early there, but that's okay. Good example of being able to reset the boss's position by menuing. We're going to rescue this prisoner war here, who tells us a little handy message that you can't cross the desert without a compass.
That's true.
Liar.
It's not true.
It's not true.
One of the big things I'm keeping an eye on here is my health throughout this section. Once you enter Building 2, the guards become a little more trigger happy and like to spray bullets at you a lot more. So you can drop health really fast on that.
And the final POW.
Yes. With this, Eriphram has reached 4 stars. Let's give him a hand.
You are a classy gentleman, Eriphram.
So Jen, can I finally talk to you?
You may talk to me now. You are 4-star and classy.
All right, so we're gonna go to 12048 and we're gonna call Jennifer and then promptly hang up on her. Unfortunately,
Sounds
the
about
guard
right.
spotted us and we took a little extra damage here, but Jen dropped us a rocket launcher here, which is awesome. I am going to heal here just to be safe. And we're gonna make our way back, use the lines to our advantage to get spotted at the last possible moment, and hopefully dodge some extra bullets. Now, we got the rocket launcher, but we don't have ammunition for it. Well, we kinda do, but it doesn't recognize it till you pick up another ammo crate. So we need to go find an ammo crate, and that's gonna be in this room over here. This is known as the Hell Room because there are so many different patterns, and it can be really mean to you.
It's a very complicated room that we don't have enough time to explain, pretty much, because it happens very quickly, but if you talk to Dunnius, who is the world record holder and the tasker for this game, he has put his brain on this room for hours and hours trying to figure out how to do this RTA. It's pretty complicated, especially if you're going for the fastest strat.
And now that we have ammunition, we can choose to blow up guards that get in our way, which is really nice and satisfying after having to dodge them all this time. So we're going to change our key card on the explosion there to remove it from the screen to allow us to fire a rocket faster. And now we have key card number 7. We only need key card number 8, and then we're ready to take the fight to Big Boss. So we got another sleepy guard here, and an important thing to remember is there is a rolling pin in the next room. Do not hold up. Do not hold up.
This has gotten like pretty much every runner in this game.
And just to add a little, I don't know. Basically, in the MSX version, there's a rolling pin and a pit in that room. So it's a double whammy.
Oh geez, that is a double whammy. So at this point, we're going to make our way back to the similar section here. We came to a canal at one point, and it had a waterway leading up into another section. We're going to cross that. Normally, you're supposed to go get an oxygen tank in the final building and then come all the ways back. But since this is the NES version, we do not need to know that. So we're just going to eat underwater, and I'm going to focus for this part here because I don't want to mess up.
Yeah, this part is pretty challenging, this last part, because if you mistime your menu, you could easily die. And it's very easy actually to do a double input on your menu and like go to the transceiver by accident.
Yeah. We don't get to do this in the MSX version. We have
Yeah, there's no underwater rations.
no snake just going to town.
No soggy sandwich.
No soggy sandwich.
No sake sandwiches. Those two guards are having a party there.
Now we're coming up to Coward Duck.
So he's a coward because he holds hostages. So we're going to try to shoot him.
One of which is Jennifer's brother.
My brother!
You know what? There's one. You're back to 2 stars. What's wrong with you?
No longer classy.
Not classy anymore, bro.
Not classy.
Well, that's okay because it's quicker to do this because we are now back in the beginning of building 1, which allows us to jump in this truck over here, which takes us to the final building of the game, which is extremely convenient. So I'm willing to lose stars over speed.
Fair enough.
So the final building here is going to have quite a few enemies through it, and it's basically full of traps and misdirections. At this point, you're receiving calls to misdirect you.
Nicely done. That is actually
yeah.
really difficult shots to land.
If you're not quick enough, there's about 4 more guards who come onto the screen, and this is a good example of an abuse of equipping the key card there to stop the pit from expanding. When you switch it over, the pit is only the size that it was when you go into the menu, so you can continue to walk forward and not have an issue.
Menus are overpowered in Metal Gear NES.
It's ridiculous.
So as we descend here into the bottom floor, I think we got time for about 2 quick donations.
For sure. I have 3333 rolling in from On's Dog saying, good luck, Eriphram. Any excuse to not do work, huh? Also $50. Also $50 from exclamation mark saying, Gray Fox.
This dude has been doing work this weekend in my room. He has actually been doing his job. So
For part of the week.
So that last room there, you receive a codec call or a transceiver call. It's actually Big Boss calling you, telling you to power off your console. The mission is over. It's canceled. It's failed. Turn off the NES now.
fish and mailed.
Mission mailed.
Oop, that's not the gas.
Those are cigarettes. We don't need gas on top of cigarettes here.
But Snake would look really cool, though.
And that's a good example of a double input, taking the menu where you don't want it to go.
And this is like the scariest screen in the entire
Yes,
game.
it is.
We need to use rations to get across this electrified floor. And it was recently discovered that the original PC release, there's actually a hidden switch that you can blow up. But not here, sadly.
Don't blink.
Don't blink.
That's Metal Gear.
That's Metal Gear.
Easy fight, right?
There you-
What's even great, it wasn't even a Metal Gear.
So there's a developer oversight there. By holding right on that doorway, you skip the entire supercomputer, or as far as we're concerned, Metal Gear fight there, and you're just able to skip it.
Eriphram, you were too good. You accomplished too much.
Also, Snake is purple. That's pretty cool.
So this is going to be the big boss fight sequence. You start off by firing a rocket right away, hoping it hits him.
Hey.
And then I'm going to go up against the wall here and go into a menu and then face down and then fire 10 rockets into
3,
his head.
4,
And then he's going to do the
5,
Big Boss shuffle.
6, 7, 8, 9.
The 10th one was the first one earlier. Yay!
Hey.
And time is coming up.
I'll give you credit for attempting. So time is going to be on the transition of the screen here. And time.
Time.
So that is Metal Gear for the NES. And I also wanted to point out here quickly as the credits start to roll here is that you can pause the credits. You still have control over the game for whatever reason, so you can have fun with that. But I have a couple shout outs here. I wanted to thank the previous GDQ runners of Metal Gear. We got Dunius, who is basically the Grandmaster, the world record holder, ran the NES version. We have also Poochie Darcy, who ran the MSX version. If anyone is interested in learning the NES Metal Gear run, I'm willing to help. You can stop by my stream, twitch.tv/Eriphram, drop by, or you can go to metalgearspeedrunners.com, and we have a wiki that was just uploaded with a pretty nice tutorial there. It's still a little bit in progress, but we're working on it. Shout outs to everyone who helped me get here. Shout outs to my wife who put up with me playing this for months in a row. And thank you to everyone. Backcouch, you got any last shout outs here?
We got Metal Gear 2 coming up next.
Yeah, stick around.
If you've never seen Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, oh,
You're in for a treat.
you're in for a treat. So, great run. That was very good. Let's give one more round of applause for Eriphram, everyone.
Very short credits.
And a very stellar run by Eriphram himself. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to be keeping you a bit of company while we set up for the next game, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake by Mini Omega King. Starting with $50 coming in from King Shibby, saying, meant to donate during the MGS2 run on Sunday, but I feel asleep. We have an anonymous $100 donation that just says, exclamation mark. We have a $25 donation from Gadzik that also says, exclamation mark. We have $50 coming in from RotorStorm331, and it says, it's been 4 years since I started donating for this great cause and 2 years since a cancerous tumor was found on my dad, and thanks to early detection, has been treated and hasn't had any problems since. Put this $50 toward naming Amaranth's name Arby's, and here's to seeing a cure for cancer. I look forward to seeing you all at a GDQ in the near future. All right, and we're going to be playing a short ad here, so stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, have you snagged your official AGDQ merch yet? Head on over to www.theyeti.com/AGDQ to see all of the incredible designs we've got available. There's tees, pins, and a finale patch that will only be available for a limited time. And a portion of every sale goes to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. We have $30 coming in from Rocket Runner saying, on the road today, but watching when I can. Trying for that Doom Guy helmet. We have $30 coming in from Struggle Punk saying Venom Snake did absolutely nothing wrong, except for all the things he did wrong. We have $5 coming in from C. Grow saying, if everybody watching online right now donated just $5, we'd break the $1 million mark and then some. Every little bit counts. We have $50 coming in from M Facto saying, I'm stuck at home with the flu, but at least I have the AGDQ to keep me company. Awesome event as usual. I've got 2 friends fighting against breast cancer, so my thoughts are for them. Ladies and gentlemen, as we creep up on $650,000 raised so far, I want to give you some information on some of the prizes that you can possibly win while donating. Mentioned before in a previous donation, the Doom Guy helmet replica, only a $30 buy-in. The Hot Ryu and Violent Ken Funko Pop, which is a pretty perfect and also limited edition, only a $5 buy-in for that. We have our Awesome Games Done Quick 2019 banner filled with all of your favorite awful games. And also one of the biggest prizes, one of the most popular prizes that has been talked about through this event, the replica Master Sword and Hylian Shield. And that's $250, but cumulative. So you can donate a little bit here and a little bit there. And if it tallies up to $250, you can be in a running to win this glorious, glorious heavy metal. We have $5 coming in from Seraph Stray that says, $5 train, let's go! Speaking of which, a $5 donation from Ned Fan Club. It says less than 3, Ned. And how about a 5 times 10? $50 coming in from Auntie102. Just has less than 3. Coming in, we have a $250 donation from Filthy Casual 11 saying, first time I've been able to catch this live stream, but I've been watching for a few years. Good luck to the runners and let's beat cancer together. We have $100 coming in from Justin149. It says, I forgot to donate during the Twilight Princess run in a Mega Man race last night. Really enjoying the show this year. Keep up the good work. And continuing from this $5 train started, we have $5 coming in from Sunny Players saying, everyone in Twitch chat has to donate $5 to smash the goal. I'll start. $5 coming in from Bomulus saying, here's my $5, just because someone told everyone who's watching to donate. I'm doing my part. And thank you guys so much for this. Five times 5 equals $25 coming in from Sensei Trey saying, sneaky snake slithers solidly.